Some artists seem to be destined for superstardom, only for their careers to stall before reaching their full potential. In this video, we'll look at 8 artists that were supposed to blow up but didn't. Chloe and Halle. Chloe and Halle were child actors and came up uploading covers on YouTube. After the sisters' Pretty Hurts cover went viral, they were discovered by Beyonce and signed to her label Parkwood Entertainment. They had everything going for them: flawless harmonies, incredible production, and an artistic vision. Their early EPs and debut album The Kids Are Alright in 2018 were critically acclaimed, as they were nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys, setting them up as R&B's next big stars. But it was their 2020 album Ungodly Hour that truly showcased their potential. It was critically acclaimed and earned them more Grammy nominations. Despite this, they never fully crossed over into pop superstardom. While they built a loyal fan base, mainstream radio largely ignored them. Their music was in between R&B and pop, but without any breakout hits, they struggled to reach the top tier of the music industry. Additionally, their branding was often seen as too mature for teen audiences, but not mainstream enough for adult R&B listeners. In 2021, the duo announced they would be taking time off to focus on solo careers. Chloe experimenting with a more provocative pop sound, and Halle pursuing acting, landing the role of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. While both sisters are still in the industry, their careers never really took off as a duo as many expected, proving that even with Beyonce's backing, success isn't guaranteed. Pia Mia. Pia Mia had all the makings of a modern pop star. She was introduced into the industry through the Kardashians, famously singing a live cover of Drake's Hold On We're Going Home at a dinner with Kanye West and Drake in attendance. The viral moment helped her gain traction, leading to a deal with Interscope Records. Her 2015 single Do It Again featuring Chris Brown and Tyga became a summer hit, giving her the momentum she needed to be positioned as the next big thing in pop music. She followed it up with Touch, which performed decently but failed to match the success of her breakthrough. Despite her promising start, things quickly unraveled. A string of label issues saw her parting ways with Interscope, leaving her in limbo right as she was supposed to capitalize on her rising fame. The industry moved on, and with no solid follow-up hits, she lost her momentum. Attempts to rebrand and relaunch herself, including independent releases and a deal with Republic Records, failed to bring her back to the mainstream. Even with continued social media presence and occasional new music, she never really regained the buzz she had in 2015. The biggest issue with her career was timing. She came up in an era where pop music was shifting towards more alternative and R&B inspired sounds, making it harder for her to stand out. In September 2024, she finally released her debut studio album Anti-Romantica, 10 years after her debut EP. While she still had a fan base, the massive pop superstardom she expected didn't really happen. Daya. Daya exploded onto the scene in 2015 with her debut single Hideaway, a catchy synth-pop driven anthem that had all the makings of a smash hit. The song peaked at number 23 on the Billboard Hot 100 and made her one of the most promising new artists in pop. Her feature on the Chainsmokers' huge hit Don't Let Me Down in 2016 only solidified her status, as the song became a global phenomenon, reaching number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and winning a Grammy for Best Dance Recording. With this momentum, Daya was setting up to become the next big pop girl. However, her debut album Sit Still Look Pretty in 2016 failed to deliver any lasting impact beyond its title track, which barely cracked the top 30. Despite her polished pop sound, Daya struggled to establish an artistic identity that set her apart from the wave of young female pop stars emerging at the time. After switching record labels in 2018, her career stalled even further, with singles like New and Insomnia failing to gain traction. Daya effortlessly fit into the mid-2010s pop landscape, but as she continued to release music, the hype that surrounded her in the mid-2010s faded, and she never managed to become a star. H.E.R was supposed to be the next major force in R&B. She kept her identity hidden when she first debuted, letting the music speak for itself. Her early projects, H.E.R Volume 1 and H.E.R Volume 2, were met with critical acclaim, and by 2019, she had already racked up multiple Grammy nominations, winning Best R&B Album and Best R&B Performance. Unlike many young artists, she wasn't a product of a viral moment. She had the industry's full backing and the talent to match. Despite all the accolades, she has struggled to break through into true mainstream success. She has had a few notable moments, including a feature on Daniel Caesar's Best Part, which is a streaming hit, and an Oscar-winning song Fight for You, but she has yet to deliver a defining hit that cements her as a household name. Damage was a big hit back in 2020, peaking at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100, not managing to crack the top 40. Her full-length debut album Back in My Mind in 2021 was well received, but didn't produce any major radio hits, a big factor for pop longevity. Part of her struggle seems to be the changing R&B landscape. Unlike the early 2010s, where artists like The Weeknd and Frank Ocean redefined the genre, mainstream R&B has become less dominant on the charts. Her sound never fully evolved into something widely accessible to the mainstream audiences. As a result, despite the Grammy wins, the Oscar and collaborations with some of the biggest names in music, she remains more of an industry darling than a genuine superstar. Sky Ferreira. Sky Ferreira's career is one of the most infamous cases of an artist who was supposed to become a pop superstar but never fully did. In the early 2010s, she was positioned as the ultimate cool girl pop icon. Her 2013 album Nighttime My Time was critically acclaimed, praised for its raw, grunge-infused synth-pop sound that perfectly captured the Tumblr era aesthetic. Songs like Everything is Embarrassing and You Are Not the One earned her a devoted fan base and music industry recognition. She was frequently compared to artists like Lorde and Charli XCX, and it seemed like she was about to become a dominant force in alternative pop. But then, nothing. For nearly a decade, her career was defined by false starts, delayed projects, and constant promises of new music that never materialized. Her sophomore album Masochism was announced in 2015, but kept getting pushed back. Label disputes and personal struggles all contributed to the lack of releases, and as years went by, her relevance began to fade. Occasionally, she would drop a new single, like Downhill Lullaby in 2019, but without a full project to back it up, the momentum quickly disappeared. By the 2020s, Sky Ferreira had become more of a pop culture myth than an actual musician, just a symbol of wasted potential and frustrating industry politics. After she was dropped by her label, she finally released a new single, Leash, at the end of 2024, which is supposed to be the start of her new independent era. She had all the potential to be one of the most defining pop artists of her generation, but she never capitalized on the hype she once had. Jesse McCartney. At one point, Jesse McCartney seemed like he was about to become the next Justin Timberlake. He started as a teen heartthrob with the boy band Dream Street, but his solo career quickly made him one of the most promising young pop stars of the early 2000s. His debut album Beautiful Soul in 2004 was a commercial success, and the title track became a defining song of that era. Jesse had real musical talent and the potential to be a long-term pop star. His second album, Right Where You Want Me in 2006, leaned into a more mature sound, but it failed to replicate the success of his debut. His biggest opportunity for mainstream crossover came in 2008 with Departure, an album that saw him rebrand with a slick R&B inspired sound. The lead single Leavin' became his biggest hit, peaking at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, and that positioned him as just more than a teen pop star. However, while the follow-up singles did decently, none of them became major hits. Jesse also wrote massive hits for other artists in that era, like Leona Lewis's Bleeding Love, which became a global phenomenon. By the 2010s, he struggled to adapt to the changing music industry. His albums faced delays, and his once massive teen fanbase grew up and moved on. Though he continues to release music and tour with nostalgia acts, Jesse McCartney never reached the superstar status many predicted. Cyrus. Cyrus seemed destined for superstardom because she came from a famous musical family. She began her career in entertainment at a young age, featuring in her father's TV series Doc and voice acting in the animated film Ponyo in 2009. Transitioning to music, Noah released her debut single Make Me Cry in 2016, a collaboration with British artist Labyrinth that garnered significant attention and showcased her distinctive vocals. Following this initial success, she released a series of singles and EPs, including The End of Everything in 2020, which featured the track July, which peaked at number 85 on the Billboard Hot 100. Despite some critical acclaim, her career didn't really take off. The comparisons to her superstar sister Miley Cyrus may have contributed to that. She got desperate, even getting into a fake relationship with Lil Xan, in order to gain media attention, but that didn't really work. In 2022, she announced her debut album, The Hardest Part. The album's release was accompanied by singles like I Burned LA Down and Mr. Percocet, but the songs never gained traction. Her music has matured as time went on, but mainstream success has eluded her till now. While she still has the potential to surprise us, her career so far has been disappointing. Tori Kelly. Tori Kelly first gained attention as a teenager, posting covers on YouTube because of her impressive vocal range and soulful delivery. In 2010, she auditioned for the 9th season of American Idol, but her journey was cut short. During Hollywood Week, she then independently released her self-produced debut EP, Handmade Songs by Tori Kelly in 2012, which built her fan base online. Her breakthrough seemed to be coming soon, with the release of her 2015 album Unbreakable Smile, featuring the hit single Nobody Love, which peaked at number 60 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and Tori received a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist in 2016. Despite this early success, her projects struggled to maintain the same momentum. Her 2018 venture into gospel music with the album Hiding Place earned critical acclaim and 2 Grammy Awards, but didn't achieve significant mainstream commercial success. Tori's versatility extended beyond music. She voiced the character Mina in the animated films Sing 1 and Sing 2, introducing her to a broader audience. However, translating this exposure into sustained musical success was challenging. She was also having management and record label problems, which delayed her projects. She has the looks, the voice, and the push to become a huge star, but that never quite happened. Which artists that were supposed to blow up did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.